Hello everyone, Funky Blood here, and time for a follow-up to one of my most watched videos, my reaction to Black Sabbath's Paranoid. And now I'm going to be reacting to their follow-up to that album with Master of Reality. If you don't know, they put out this album less than a year later, so that's insane. And while this may sound like they rushed it, it resulted in one of their most celebrated albums ever. And I am excited to listen to it 110%, not only because the critical acclaim has been through the roof, but also the guys at Trials of Metal have basically all given it their number one in their ranked video of the Black Sabbath discography. So these guys have good taste, and hopefully it will appeal super hard to me as well. But first, I'm going to talk about the cover for this album, which apparently has a few versions, but I'm going to talk about the Black Sabbath in purple and the title of the album in gray version, the bolded letters, and just the off-kilter style to the text here is definitely memorable. So I'm going to give this one a thumbs up. Let's begin this heavy metal classic with the first track, Sweet Leaf. Quite speedy, that's nice. Yeah, that was stoner metal for sure, because if you don't know, the Sweet Leaf that Ozzy was singing about, that was a leaf of weed and he was in love with it. The lyrics about weed definitely feed into the swagger that the instrumentation has, and I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. The mixing was a bit off at parts, however, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty enjoyable ride throughout. Track number 2, After Forever. Pretty bright instrumentation, I'd say.
Have you ever thought about your soul? Can it be saved?
Yeah, this is a head bobber.
I think it is true. It was people like you that crucified Christ.
That was a good pushback against the rumors by the weird Christians that were saying they were Satan worshippers and all that. And especially in verse 3, where he says they would crucify Christ if they were alive back then. That's a pretty clever thing to say, in my opinion. The only complaint I would have with this track is that it was a bit too slow at points. Overall, this track is amazing. Ozzy Osbourne is in top form, and the instrumental ideas here are quite stellar as well. So I'm going to give this one a 9 as well. I am in love with what they did here. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 though. Track number 3, Embryo, is an interlude, and let's see what it does. Nothing too out there, so yeah, I'm just gonna give it an X out of 10. And let's move on to Children of the Grave. Nice build up.
Revolution in their eyes, children start to march. Children of tomorrow, yes, that fall today.
The riffs here are spectacular as hell.
Oh, you children of the world.
Yeah, that was the most stunning track so far. The instrumentals were top notch. The lyrics were about a great subject matter with how they tackled the nuclear war. And Black Sabbath did this before on Paranoid with the track Electric
Funeral.
which was a pretty good track on its own, but I think they did this better here. Not only because the psychedelic instrumentals were just mind altering, but also how they brought up such imagery as sunsets and children spreading the word of a better world. Yeah, I'd say this is a masterpiece, and I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. I've got literally no complaints here. Alright, track for number 5. Alright, track number 5, which is also one of the shorter tracks here. Yeah, this was just an interlude, but I think in a way it was better than Embryo, because this one actually sounded pleasant and chimey. I like it. I don't think I will give this one a score because it's not as long as the regular tracks and doesn't have any greater themes to talk about. Just a pretty nice instrumental bit. I guess I would also download this track if I would download this whole album. Not worthy of a skip at all. Track number 6, Lord of this World. Nice back and forth. Nice.
You're searching for your mind, don't know where to start. Find a cure, yeah. You made me master of the world where you exist.
So that was Lord of the Sword, and I wouldn't say it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. However, the instrumentals dragged a bit at a certain point, and the lyrics were somewhat vague, and I wouldn't say taught me a lesson on anything, more like pointed out there are evil people in the world, and that's it. Still, there are some pretty memorable things about this track, like the effect on Ozzy's voice, which caught me off guard. Yeah, this track is a bit weaker, however, still pretty solid. 8.5 from me. Alright, track number 7, Solitude. Pretty low key, okay.
My name, it means nothing. My fortune is left. Clouds linger on. Now they are gone. They are gone.
Who is gone? This is their moodiest song yet.
I go to crying and thinking is all that I
So that was Solitude, a track with Ozzy presenting a lover of his and the back and forth they went through and how he misses her. There isn't too much stuff to point out. It's a pretty psychedelic piece that doesn't do anything super ambitious. I might change my mind later, but for now I'm going to give it a 9. Alright, time for the last track called Into the Void. Also, it's the longest here. This is quite slow, but in a engaging way. Okay.
rocket engine burning fuel so fast. Up into the night sky they blast. Pollution fills the air, the land and sea. Man prepares to meet his destiny. Rocket engine burning fuel so fast. Up into the black sky so fast. Through the empires of eternal light. Freedom from the final suicide.
Ooh.
Escape from flame of my last pollution. As the stars in fields of ancient void. Through the shields of darkness where they find.
2 minutes to go. So that was an pro-environmental dystopian grand epic that works pretty well as a enjoyable piece. The lyrics are about dystopian imagery and how the earth is being ruined and people being saved from that madness. Oh, and rockets as well. The only gripe I have with this track is that it loses focus a bit towards the end. However, the 4 minutes before that were top notch and made some of Black Sabbath's best, and I am going to give this one a 9.5. I still am in awe of this track. Yeah, 9.5 from me. On the whole, there isn't a huge concept stringing all of these tracks together. It's just a collection of very memorable, very technical, and respectable performances. The only track I would say I didn't care for as much was Lord of this World, which was a bit too slow for me. The lyrics range from being lovesick to opposing nuclear warfare in a creative way. So to give this album a score, I averaged out all of the scores, and what came out was 9.1. And yeah, it is a lower score than the previous album. However, I still would say this album is a classic. It should be remembered as one because it has a ton of things going for it, like the passionate performances, the revolutionary themes, and musical ideas that would later translate to stoner metal. And I would definitely recommend this album to everybody if they want a pretty enjoyable piece of history. That's it. I'm Funky Blood. Thanks for watching. Video over.